mean, I'm positive of that. I think he's right about that. But why not just have one of these little storage sheds and put them in? I just think it just seems like it solves all the problems.
I'm not sure what these little storage sheds cost. I always thought they cost a little more than that.
Well,
not that I know.
He built that. John Brown built that.
Okay.
So, for course, I
Built
didn't
one
know
of them.
that.
Did he build?
He built
Yeah.
the storage shed. So I think John Brown, we could probably find out from him how much it would cost. My hunch is it wouldn't be.
I don't know if it was the materials and labor or what he charged, but if Rachel is saying it's only 900 to 1,000 more.
No,
And it would look better than having all these small buildings out there.
Yeah, it looks
Aesthetically,
trashy
it would
with a
look
lot of
it would look
buildings.
nicer, but
I don't know why we would. I just still don't get why we're. I want to see the cost before I would agree to enlarging the storage building, and I'd like to see what John Brown would charge us for building one.
I can ask Paul if he was asked on that.
I haven't seen until we go out for bid, we don't really know.
Well, he's got he
has
gave
a
you an
guess- he
estimate.
has a guesstimate
He gave you an
cost.
estimate cost. I'd like to see his estimate cost, taking the bathrooms out, or taking the storage unit completely out, taking the storage unit to the small thing we agreed to last time. I'd like to see the two different costs. I mean, before I'm willing to go back and look at anything more.
Well,
than
I think
storage.
that's something the board will have to vote on.
I'm just saying that's my proposal.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good. We will have to vote on it.
Well, what are we voting on? Are we voting on going back and making it bigger? Are we voting on getting some estimates of what the cost would be?
I would like to wait till next month and have John in on it if possible, so we can get a better idea.
All right, then I'm going to make a motion. We table it till next month,
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
and that way we can have time to get true costs.
But can you have him get the cost in the interim? I mean, let's not be sitting here with, pie in the sky, and I'm going to talk to John to get him the cost on his storage shed.
I can ask John what he would charge and how big it would have to be, and then we can go back to Paul and say,
No, I don't want to do that. We already have an estimate from Paul. I would rather I don't want Paul to know what John's going to cost. That's not the way.
no, I wouldn't tell him
Well,
that.
just
I
go
mean,
back
I would
and
go
ask
to John
Paul.
and get a cost from him, get a cost from Paul.
Yeah.
They neither one would know what the other one is talking about.
I
That's
think
how
we're
it's
talking about
done.
two different things. You're talking about I'm talking about storage shed for John as one thing. And
Yeah,
I'm talking.
that, you talk to John and say, how much would you charge us to build a 12 by 12 or whatever we need? And then you go back and we'll just find out what this 8 by 7.5 would cost, and then we compare the two at the next meeting.
What's the seagull problem? You're revisiting the seagull thing, Kathy. Is that yours?
Well, I think at our last meeting, we kind of said that they didn't know what type of material
How they hold it together.
the poles were coming out of our dock, and it's PVC and it's square. And another thing I just want to remind the board is this is a trial thing. They're putting it up for us. If it doesn't work, if it breaks, then it's something we don't have to consider doing again. But what if it does help with the seagull stopper? I know that it would be a nice feature if it did, because there's quite a bit of
And how
Stuff
tall
on
was
the-
it? I think there was some issue about the height.
No, it was going to be high enough that kids could not.
Couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to be zigzagged.
It'd be zigzag down the dock.
Down the dock. It won't be down both sides.
No.
Okay.
It goes in a zigzag pattern, and it is on PVC, but it's square. It's pretty sturdy.
Only the swim
And-
dock at this time.
Yes, because I would imagine the boat dock, as sailors do, usually you have to go around the pole up top to tie a boat. But it's just something that they're willing to do, and it might be something that works, and if it doesn't work, we can just
Not do it
dissolve
again.
it the next year.
Yeah, sounds good. You want to put a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, you want a second, Kathy?
I will second it, please.
So the motion is that we would accept the Michigan Lake Products trial of PVC, of
The
fish
seagull
wire,
stopper.
what fish
Seagull
wire?
stopper.
Seagull stopper, whatever it's called,
And I think,
And we'll try it for this summer.
right, and it's at no cost to us.
Yeah, it's no
just-
cost.
They're
No
just gonna
cost.
do it, right?
Right.
Just a trial basis.
Okay, any more discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Approval for the cleanup days. We've got July 5th and July
Right.
12th.
And that's $690 a load. I didn't lay it all out. There's some costs for tires and stuff. It'll all be in the newspaper well ahead of time, so everybody will know what they're up against. The costs haven't changed that much from last year.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the cleanup days of July 5th and 12th? 5th and Tappan Beach, 12th and Derby Road at a cost of approximately $690.
And we use about 4 loads,
And we have 4 loads.
probably. That's.
Did we do it over 4th of July weekend last year?
Yeah, we did.
I think it was
I
the
think it was the
3rd.
6th or the 3rd, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was before or after.
Okay.
Is there a reason why we do it on the holiday?
No, I think they schedule out cleanup days for various townships, and we get
The refuge people?
those dates.
Okay.
I mean, they're assigned, you get them, if you don't want them, fine, they'll go to the next person.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
it's the
is
way
there
it
a motion
works.
for
There's
this?
not much of a selection.
No, there
Yeah, I'll
isn't.
make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you have a team owners bill or whatever this is?
Yeah, I talked to David about this bill, and he isn't here, is he?
No.
Okay. Well, I can't pay this. Number one, I only have $35,763.91 in the budget, and this bill is for $49,130.50. That's the number one problem. Kathy and I have been over this. The only thing that we can think of that could possibly, according to David, be deducted is the M&M bill that was paid by us to M&M to put the fountain in. And then there was an $800 permit deal that we thought we would try to deduct out of the bill. So there's $2,400, $2,500 we might be able to deduct out of here.
And I thought the other issue was that you had the $25,000 that was given to you by the Tappan Beach Development Association, and you
That
haven't put that
is a
against.
donation, and I'm not sure that I can put it in that budget. I have to check.
Okay, well, why don't you check with that, and if that is the case, then I think we should make a motion to pay this bill. If that isn't the case, then I think you need to come back and we'll have to figure out what we're going to do to pay the bill.
Yeah, I don't know whether the state will, I think I probably can, but I am reluctant to do that because of the accounting procedures. So
Okay.
I would have to ask.
Okay, well, is there a motion that Rachel pay this bill if in fact she can get the money out of the donation that that was given specifically to help pay this bill? You understand what that is, Dennis? There was the $25,000.
It was all Dennis item 1 here
Yeah,
on
it's
the
on
last
this last
page.
page.
On the last page?
It was all of item 1. And then on item 4, the park water feature, the $3,550, that is included in the 2,502 that the Tappan Beach Development gave us on donations. They did write it out specifically that those are the features they wanted to take care of.
Okay.
And
So-
we put that went to
That went to the
savings.
donation fund.
Yeah, and then
So
I
that
mean,
needs to be.
I'm just talking
Exactly.
from a bookkeeping standpoint.
it did go to the donation fund at a point.
So it's still in the bank somewhere.
Yeah, we
It
just
was-
need,
It was done for park purposes, so.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, if he
She
will
has
let
an
me-
accounting thing she has
If
to
he will let
do.
me credit it to this line item, which I think I probably can.
Okay, I understand.
It's a
that.
bookkeeping
Yeah,
deal.
right, I
For
understand.
the state.
Why don't you just see if you can do that and then
And if he
take care
will
of
let
it?
me do that, then
If
I
not-
will pay the bill.
If not, bring it back next
Do we
month.
want to deduct the 2,500? Because we did, that's the David's suggestion.
Well, David was always about deducting that money. There's a whole bunch of questions, you know, if you talk to Felicia Vanderbrink, a different perspective. My personal feeling is we should pay the bill as is. But
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to even give an opinion, because
Yeah.
I was never involved.
I would
so-
I'd rather pay the bill as is and take care of the
if the board wants to
25,000.
pay it,
That's what I would rather do.
motion to pay if donation can be credited to 101-902-970.
So
I'll support it. All in favor?
Who's making it?
Dennis.
Marianne supported.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
I'm going to oppose.
Oh, you're going to oppose. Okay, fine. Okay, next thing on our list here, I got a call tonight or yesterday, I guess, from MAPS, and they would like to make a presentation to the board on April 7th meeting. And just to prepare you for what their presentation is, which is a delightful surprise in my opinion. Jill Lynch and Roy from MAPS, she's the, I think, chairman of MAPS, they want to make a presentation on putting a fishing pier in Toppington at no cost to Toppington, to the township, and it would be in the park. And they said they've just done one in Burt Lake, and they feel that they need to have a fishing pier on this side. It would be a seasonal pier. They haven't done all the work on it, but she wanted to come and pitch, and I said, well, you know, I guess what you need from the board is the land to put your fishing pier out there, but they want to do it focused on handicapped people and children. Fishing pier for kids and children. So they're coming to if Rachel, you put that on the agenda, they're coming to the April 7th meeting that we'll have at East Moat Lake Hall. What is the thing on the park that's on here, Rachel? Is this Kathy's park? Kathy's this year's update on the park?
Well, you
I
had
gotta
some,
find it.
you had questions and I had some
Yeah.
answers I sent you. I didn't know if you wanted to go over that, or I didn't even send them, but I
Okay.
didn't know.
I think that, if you remember at the last meeting, Kathy came with a proposal of somebody that would donate post, and also I guess the township would have to pay for about $3,500 for a decorative fence by the steps.
We still
right?
have some in the budget, $1,500 on a donation that we could use for that, if we had to put fence at the top and the bottom of the stairs
Yeah.
for any reason.
Well, I think we have to for safety, right? I mean, we
I
don't
would
want-
think so,
I don't think you want somebody walking down those stairs in the middle of winter.
or even when it rains out.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. So anyway, after the meeting, I sent Kathy a list of questions that I had that had to do more with, my concerns about people falling and about how do we protect the bottom? What do we do in the bottom, to keep the snowmobilers out and whatever. I have a list of questions. So I think it would be good. Kathy did quite a bit of work to answer them. I think it would be good to hear what she had to say.
All right, let's go back to the questions maybe. You had written, if posts are put up along the trail, how will the emergency vehicles get in if they are needed? And I wrote back, park access for emergency vehicles is provided by an 8-foot wide pathway at the north end of the beach. During the winter months, there would be a temporary removable wooden gate across that opening to prevent snowmobile access. And then I put in my proposals.
Would that be part of this person that did the pathway? Or is this a removable one?
This is what it is.
Okay, got it.
Anywhere there's concrete down here, this is like a post that would come down and meet it. It does not go into the ground because you don't want to go through the concrete. And these screw in, and it's 8 foot across. So those can be removed, either use screws or however you put them in. That would be up at the north end, and this one is in front of the piazzas and
Right.
the stairway. So that's why those two show there.
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay. Then number 2, will the width of the post accommodate ADA requirements? Yes, there will be approximately 3-foot opening between the posts. In the summer, the walkways provide the 8-foot access.
Oh, you mean the 8-foot here?
There'll be
Oh,
8
okay.
foot there.
I got an 8-foot here.
Because this middle one comes right away.
This is coming out in the summer.
Yep.
And this is coming out in the summer.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome.
Then, number 3, will the post be easily
No,
removed
I can see.
for when we need access under normal use? Access will be along the walkways and between the posts. The post will be permanent, set approximately 3 feet into the ground. And all posts are put in 3 feet except the ones that are like the gate-looking ones that are removable. And then number 4, people can walk into the park during the winter. How will we keep snowmobiles out of the park from the lake side? There's already an existing snow fence, and at this point, it would remain the same. If there's any time that we could,
So how are people, I mean, one of the things, that this is the issue, I think. People are going to want to go to the thing to have fishing or whatever. We heard all this issues about, I can't walk to the lake, I can't do that. How are they going to get to the lake?
Well,
what are we going to do to open, if
you
we open the top?
can do something at the south end to where the orange fence comes up to a certain area with a post and just leave a walkway on that area, but it's only a footpath. It's not for snowmobilers. Snowmobilers they're using the Bennett Road.
So if we
They're
take
still
this,
using-
we're going to do something like this. We'll have a.
This would be at the south end if we did a
Where would we
footpath.
do it there?
Where you would make it happen because you would have the
Going down
opening
that
from the
hill?
post. Yeah, people walk down there in the snow all the time. That's what they did every
Down
year.
on the other side of that, where this.
And where
this
the
thing
snow
is.
fence comes up on the shore, you just wouldn't come over, you'd leave like 2 feet opening for somebody to walk through.
In the beach area.
3 feet, yeah.
In
at the beach area.
Okay.
You wouldn't bring the snow fence all the way over as we have done.
Okay.
And that would give somebody a footpath if they wanted to take a sled and toboggan or whatever they carry their fish gear up on. And also it gives people access to come up to the restrooms. People do park their snowmobiles there and try to walk up to use the bathrooms on that south end.
Okay.
So there would be like a footpath on that
So
south end.
we would still use the
Snow
snow
fence.
fence.
Unless we found, in future years that you might want to put some post in, you could do that in certain areas, but there's still going to be a spot where you'd have to have the orange fence.
I see that.
Because
That's what I.
across the beach, you can't have it. You can't in front of docks.
Yeah,
can't
I'm
have
thinking
those
we're going to
posts
need
there.
it up that path line you're talking about too, because otherwise somebody's likely to
Well-
wander over the edge of the retaining wall on that side.
We're just going to have to bring, because
We might
retaining
have to
wall's
bring
right
it.
there. Yeah.
Parallel,
Or even right,
perpendicular with the
With-
trail
Exactly.
on the lake.
Parallel
Like
to the
right to-
property
With
line.
some
Exactly.
of the leftover fence that we can salvage
we
from
got
this winter.
we got new fence too. That we
Okay.
we have more than enough fence.
But that would be I would think the south end would be the foot trail because it's closer to the bathroom. That way they'd have access right to the lake and getting right back up. Where are we at? Number 5. Boats were used on the lake side. How would handicapped people get to their boats?
Yeah, that's you
well, they
answered.
wouldn't be in front of the dock area or the beach area. If you decided to go with posts at some point, you would have to take that in consideration that you can't have posts all the way
thing
across.
doesn't- Yeah, the posting doesn't
People carry
really work.
coolers to
Yeah.
the boats. The docks need to be put in.
Yeah. I can't see how
It
posts
might
would
not
work
be a
down there.
thing for
No.
that.
Yeah.
It was just something we had thought about in the future. Number 6, how are we going to keep people off the cement or concrete or protect them from falling on ice-packed walkways? Well, we could maybe come up with some temporary signage like caution slippery or, just something that we're still going to have this across in the winter.
Yeah.
And that's going to be in front of those concrete walkways. And if we have signs to go along with that saying, it could be slippery or walk at your own risk because you don't know when you're going to have rainstorms or ice storms or snowstorms. But once you get enough snow, people won't even know it's a pathway. They just walk other places.
Yeah, I'm worried about this one that's going down here is my biggest worry. I mean, this will be blocked off, so they won't take the stairs, I don't.
But see, in the winter, when you have so much snow, there's times that you don't even know there's a
I know,
pathway there.
I know, but it'll form into a pathway
Exactly.
quickly.
But we also have to take in consideration, we have the iron stairs people could slip on, we have Sutherland stairs, we have sidewalks out here, we have
Oh, I know.
sidewalks everywhere, we have a...
It's just that you want to minimize your,
Exactly.
it's just like if
It's
the
not just
sidewalk
the
had
beach
been.
that somebody could slip and
Right.
fall, it's everywhere.
Right.
But we, you would hope people would use common sense, but now and then, it doesn't happen. But the best way, I think, to deter it is to maybe get some signage.
Yeah, we gotta ask Tim about the signage, because somebody told me that if you have signage, you're actually more liable.
Okay. Find
So,
out if we have to do
yeah.
anything, or just,
Just leave it,
yeah, let them do whatever like we've done in the past. Should there be a gate at the top and the bottom of the stairs? And in my proposal, I said yes, and I suggested the decorative metal fence that is pretty much similar to what we have there, and it's a fence that can be removed once winter is over at the top and the bottom, and they said it would run about $3,500, even though I have not costed anywhere else, who knows. But there is $1,500 in our donation fund still, so that's part of that. If we'd like to do that, we'd have to have $2,000 more.
Can we do that?
I don't know if, and I don't know who's here from the TVA, but I think they still have, I thought $8,000 somewhere in there that they were planning on giving us for the beach.
Oh, I don't know, but you could ask them for two, if that's all you need, is just 35 or.
But some of that money might still be just sitting there.
So you can follow up on that one, because I think that's a good
Okay.
idea. If one of them, if they would be willing to do that, I think that would be great.
And then, are you going to create a place for kids to slide? I'm not considering doing that. People used to go down there, and it wasn't a big sledding hill. It was just, and maybe you misunderstood that. Sometimes it would just be a mom and one little kid with just a little roll-up plastic thing, and they would just go down because there was no traffic. There's nothing there but just a little hill. And that's also when the swing sets was in the middle. And maybe she'd have one on the swings and one just sliding. But now, with all the snow that we've had, people probably have the biggest hills in their driveways as we do
for sure.
on that ledge over there. But
I was thinking, I mean, I think the sledding hill's one. I was just thinking we could create, and I talked to Dennis about this, if we really had people want to sled, we could make a sledding hill up down Sutherland.
And I thought that looked pretty dangerous down Southern.
Did you?
Yeah. We sledded around here
That's
a
when we were
long
kids,
time
we
when we
were
were kids, but we never went up to those stairs.
We used to slide
No,
right
we
here
wouldn't
on
do
this
the
road.
We
stairs.
slide right behind
I'd
here.
say-
Oh, I know,
behind
but there's trees. and
Oh, yeah,
there's-
but we could, yeah.
Then that was sanctioned by the school. I mean, they used to bring us right out
I think
here
they'd be safer right on the little beach than they would be.
and slide us right down the street.
Yeah. No.
Recess.
Yeah, it was Portage Street they used to close down.
Then I'm not going to emphasize sledding, because
No,
I don't think that
I'm not
sounds like
either,
a big
just so
deal.
they can get into the park if they want, and that was the whole point, to be able to walk into the park if they like.
I'm fine with this. I think you did a nice job answering the questions. It just came so fast, we didn't have time to really go over it, and I didn't have time to think about the questions. But I feel really comfortable with it. You want to make a motion on the 3,500 that we try to pursue
Yes.
the removable decorative metal fence
Yes.
at a cost of 3,500, use 1,500 that we have in the fund already designated for it, and as a donation, and see if the TDA would help us with the rest. Everybody, and is that your motion?
That would be fine.
Okay, you support it?
I'll support it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay,
And stores in that 35. And what else?
in the stores for the fence.
They're going to be fenced. They're not going to be doors. They're not.
Right.
Gonna be
You're not
something-
gonna have
They're not
it.
gates.
You're
It's
not
a-
using gates.
They're going to be some that are put up through the winter and
It's
then
a-
removed in the summer. They're not something
What are you
people
gonna
can.
call them?
It's a removable decorative
It's-
metal fence, is
it's
what she's
just
got here in
fencing.
her proposal.
Metal.
Removables,
Yes.
right, removable.
Metal fence
metal
section,
fence
call it.
section.
And we'll, once we get them,
Well,
we'll
I'll
figure
get
out
with
how.
you so I can write it
Okay.
correctly.
Okay, I don't plan to reschedule the library board meeting. It was pretty clear to me that there wasn't any interest in that, and I'm not going to go back in there and have another meeting just to yell and scream. So I don't, if somebody else wants to reschedule, that's their prerogative. I also got an estimate for the video surveillance, but I'm going to give you the estimate. This guy really was thorough, and I'll let you read it. I have not had Ken hasn't gotten back to me on his review of it. Remember I told you?
What is it?
The video surveillance that we talked about for the restroom in the park.
Okay.
Anyway, Ken is an expert in this, and I haven't had his input yet on it. I did get his input on the other one that I got from Protection One, and he gave me a whole 2 pages of what was wrong with that one. So I wanted to see what he says about this one. I had the guy come today and measure and take a look and see what he thought, and this one I really like. This one is it's vandal protective, so vandals couldn't break it. The thing that's great about this is you can access it from your phone. So, we would have a monitor, but you could actually, at any time, if we had a police call or we saw a problem, we could be right on our phone and see it live. So
Who's going to monitor it?
Well, I am. I mean, I think this is part of my job. I think for sure. And it's one of these things where after 2 weeks they automatically erases, and then it just keeps building. So. And I think we monitor it when we were having issues. I mean, that's the purpose of it, which is all the issues that we've had. So it's a very complete system. But anyway, I want you to take a look at it. And next meeting, I'm going to ask Ken to, if he's back in town, to give us his opinion of both of them, of the 2 proposals that I have. Okay. I think we've gotten everything. Is there any other? Dennis, you have anything?
Do we have to do anything for MacArthur's?
All I need is the approval of the retainer for our attorney.
Okay. Is there? I think this is that yours?
I think so.
Yeah, mine's here. Is there a motion to? It's really. Do you need both the retainer and to pay his bill?
No, the bill, to pay his bill is in the budget, so that's fine, and I will have
the
to.
retainer?
I will have to probably. No, there isn't enough money in the budget because we went over. So I will have to go into the professional services. No, he is part of the professional services. I'll be fine.
Okay, so we need a motion to pay.
The retainer of $500 and retain him for the next fiscal year.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you need to? You don't need to meet. Oh. Yeah, it's a legal agreement that we're going into. So Rachel and I will sign it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just gets a copy back.
Okay. Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
All in favor of paying the bills?
Who seconded?
We're going to have a support.
I'll support it.
Okay. All in favor? Paying the bills? Aye.
Aye.
And a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
How you doing, Des?
Pretty good, Carl. You're limited.
Arthritis everywhere.
Okay.
Can't sit too long.
All right.
Can't sit too long. Can't stand too long. Can't lay too long. Yeah, I know you have it in the budget, but on the library there, that last little bit of saw we had there, up underneath the eaves, there was actually an icicle coming down out of the eaves. So it's definitely coming back through.
I know, I looked at that last fall, and I was hoping we were gonna get to it last fall, but like they said on the weather tonight, we started getting snow in October, and it hasn't quit.
Yeah, but, definitely, it doesn't look like there's much of an ice dam, so I'm thinking it's just, very little set it off. There was an icicle this long hanging up there on those old pine boards where they are.
Yeah, that's gotta be a top priority repair this.
Yeah, sure hate to get it where it's actually getting dry rot up in it.
Yeah, and then back up into the building itself.
Yeah.
I don't wanna see that.
No.
Okay, thanks, Carl.
Yep.